I'm really excited to share with you a conversation I had with my friend this morning and how it relates to unlocking and unleashing the true power of an artist. It's a question that I've had on my mind for a long time. How do I put my art out there into the world with my desire to be seen, my desire to be loved, my desire to be appreciated for what I create, and also find myself centered and powerful and confident and comfortable and able to actually create an effect onto the world with my art without decentering myself, needing people to tell me how much it affected them. I'm really excited to share this with you. We go deep, we go spiritual, we get into a bunch of different awesome things like human design and just energy, the way that art affects people. And I'm really excited to share this transmission with you. So take a gander. Still kind of dark. Let me see if I can just inch forward. Ooh, put myself more into light. There we go. All right, that's much, much, much better. Mucho better, mucho better. So I got some new clay, and I'm really excited to use it. I had a conversation with a friend of mine. We woke up early. We were both going to go meditate at this temple. And since it is the week of Christmas, it was not open. It was closed. So we did not end up going to the temple and meditating. But what we did end up doing is going to a 24-hour cafe, Epoch Cafe, and having an intensely amazing conversation. And this conversation mirrors what I said in my other video, the last one. In that, who am I if I am not the kind of person who is a mover and a shaker? Who am I if I am a person whose value is in my silence, or my presence rather, whose value is not in my volume, but whose value is in my perception? What does that mean? I just got new bats and new clay. I'm really, really excited about using these. One of the things that was difficult to accept, but freeing once I did, was my human design. I'm a projector. And what they say about projectors is that we are not meant to work. We are gifted in our ability to perceive and to attune and to be conditioned by our environment, as in to take in our environment. All of this, by the way, all the things that I'm going to be sharing with you are things that after this video, you will be exceptionally prepared to enter the world with a powerful knowledge of what it means to be an artist king or an artist queen. Okay, that little bit is going to go at the beginning. As a projector, my value is in my perception. My value is in my ability to see things others cannot, and to guide the world around me to become what I see it can be. It's not to create it, it's not to initiate it, it's to guide. And I struggled to accept this. It's a lot of artists, whether we're projectors or something else, our ability to see things others cannot is one of our strengths. For me, my ability to see and my ability to guide, I would say, are my most powerful strengths. And when I tried to be an initiator and a doer, things crumbled. And the only times things worked, the amount of energy it took from me was much more than I could bear. It was not sustainable. So this was something that I took me a while to accept. And the first time me and my friend talked about human design, he suggested the idea that being a projector is like being a potter. Because he knew I was a potter. I do not put the clay, well, I do put the clay on the thing, but I do not make the clay. I do not effort the clay into form. I guide the clay into form. As you can see, I'm using a light touch, light but firm, right? And I'm also being kind of slow here. Let me see, let's make sure, yeah. I'm being kind of slow here because this is a slower wheel. I'll be getting a faster wheel sometime this coming year, in the next few months. But this is a slower wheel. But in addition to being a guider, see, like I'm guiding the clay, I'm guiding it with a light touch, I'm also being very attuned to it. I'm not forcing it. The moment I force it, I no longer have anything to force because it will fall. It will falter. I must be attuned to it. I must be present with it. I must be perceptive with it with my hands. And I gain a sensitivity in this process that allows me to move forward in life very attuned, interacting with the world just like I'm interacting with this clay. Perceiving it deeply and adjusting myself to guide the world around me. And through this process, I attune myself to the world, I perceive the world deeply, and I guide it. And that's a powerful thing. I mean, look what I'm doing, look what I'm creating. One of the things about projectors also is there's a deep desire to be recognized. Almost a need. There's nothing wrong with being recognized at all. In fact, for people like me, it's a core pull. I want to be recognized for my gifts, especially in a society where the story in most places is that value is based on productivity, especially in America. In other countries, it depends. But value being placed on output and effort, which is something that does not resonate with me and may not resonate with a lot of you. I'm not saying don't train your skill. I'm not saying don't put effort in. I'm saying there's much more to value than effort and output. And specifically with artists, our perception and our attunement and our sensitivity is a deep, 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 deep strength. And what became clear for me is that my desire for recognition often gets in my way. Today, when my friend and I met at the coffee shop, because the temple was closed, we dropped in and had this deep conversation. He's a manifester, and he was going through something that I felt I had I could support him in. Which is the difference between leaning in and trying to effort and trying to outreach, versus leaning back into myself and letting people come to me. Now there's a lot of differences between a projector and a manifester, but for him, he has power in his words. In a way that I do, but in a different way. His power in his words comes from him, through him, and creates and affects the world directly. My power in my words is like guiding, like I'm doing right now. I can take the energy that's there and I can guide it very effectively in a way that no other type can do. What he does is he creates, but I'm like, instead of leaning forward and trying to push, it's like, be the king sitting back in his throne, and from there he speaks. If a king leans forward and tries to speak at his kingdom, then his kingdom might listen, but their respect for him will wane. But if the king sits back in his chair and speaks from that place, well then anything and everything can be created, and can be created from ease. And this is something I learned as a projector. And for me, it works even worse. When I lean forward and try to effort, well then I wreck the thing I'm trying to build. But when I lean back into my own energy and stay rooted in my presence, things come to me, and I've seen that over and over and over and over again. And then the conversation switched back to me because there was a moment where I desired recognition. It was very subtle, but he noticed it. He's very attuned as well. It was very, very, very subtle, but he noticed that there was a part of me that really wanted to be recognized for the perception and energy work I just did on him. And we came to a point where together we realized that there's an analogy that is absolutely perfect that I wanted to share with you through the clay and through my own experience. My touch on the clay is very light, firm but light, very attuned. If I don't have my elbow anchored here when I'm doing certain things, well, it's not going to take the form I want it to take. If I have it too anchored and I try to push without really being attuned to the clay, well, then the clay is also going to fold, right? So I must be very attuned to the clay and also very centered in myself. Pottery for me is a deeply spiritual practice. And I was explaining this to him, and he was like, from the position of the clay, from the point of view of the clay, what does your hand look like? What does it feel like? There's this little bit right here, right? It goes around, and as it comes around, it feels my hand. It doesn't really necessarily notice what my hand is doing. My hand is lightly shaping it. But it comes around, it's like, oh, there's a hand. Oh, there's a finger. Oh, there's a finger. Oh, there's a finger. Oh, there's a finger, right? The clay might feel me, might not, might be in its own head about what's going on, and feeling its own feelings, right? The clay might not be aware of me. And at the end, once the clay is a beautiful, let me show you. I'm going to have to wash this off. But this is a mug. This is a commission that I made for a friend of mine. I am very, very deeply proud of it. It's beautiful. I infused it with a certain energy as well. I'm so excited to give it to him. I'm actually going to give it to him later today. I'll wash that clay off. It's a complete piece. It's waterproof. And that holds water very well, right? The complete piece is beautiful. It holds water, and I guided it into that shape. Is the clay going to thank me? The obvious answer is no. Maybe like, if I tap into it energetically, maybe there's like a resonance there or something. But the clay is just going to be the thing. The pottery piece is the pottery piece. And if I try to seek my joy in the pottery piece, speaking back to me and thanking me and noticing how well I guided it, well, that creates a dependency. That doesn't only mean that I need to guide things well. It means that I need them to tell me I guided things well. And that might lead me frustrated and bitter. My joy and my fulfillment comes from seeing that piece hold water beautifully, perfectly, without a drop spilling. I did such a good job on that. I don't need the pottery piece. I don't need this piece to tell me that I did a great job. I just look at it and see its beauty. And I'm going to wash all that clay off. I don't need it to tell me anything. A painter putting a painting in the room, seeing how that painting affects the people around him or her or them, they don't need the people to tell them that their painting changed their life. Maybe the people aren't even aware of how they're affected by it, which is unfortunate but common. Maybe they're not even aware, right? But when that painter goes in that room and sees the people glance at the painting and then or well up with tears or shift in the way that they wanted people to shift, that is my vessel holding water. That is that painter's vessel holding water. They don't need somebody to come up to them and say, "Oh my goodness, your piece changed my life." Although that is nice, and that is welcome, and that is appreciated. But they don't need that in order to feel satisfied. Said another way, if I create a piece that changes 100 people's lives, guaranteed I will receive at least 3 compliments. So compliments will come. Recognition will come. But my focus is best spent on the question, how do I want people to be affected by my work? And doing that the best possible way. As artists, recognition is important. As artists, recognition is needed and necessary. And what is our relationship with it? So I wanted to share this transmission with you. It was very powerful for me. And my mission on this earth is to help awaken each of our artist king and artist queen. I use different words to describe it, but that's a really beautiful way that I've started to describe what I do. So thank you. Subscribe. Put a comment. Let me know what you think. What is becoming alive in you from this? What else would you like me to talk about? Beautiful. All right. Beep. Boop, boop.